So once again, welcome to this weekly outlook, right? So we're going to be looking at the market for this week and what happened last week, and then we see what we're expecting next week, right? So I'm going to be taking through the pairs I'm going to be trading, but before we do that, we will get into look at the fundamentals, what we have for the coming week. So let's look a bit at fundamentals, which is always very important, right? So I always start my analysis by looking at the fundamentals and also looking at other flows, so the COT report. So looking at fundamentals for next week, which is September 16, right? From September 16, Monday, we don't really have anything to do. If you're looking at Tuesday, nothing. If you're looking at Tuesday we have some high impact news on the Canadian dollar. So we have CPY for Canadian dollar, and we also have retail sales on the US dollar. This is a very, very important news to pay attention to, right? So this is a high impact news, so you have to pay attention to this. So if you are looking at the retail sales data for the month, what I'll be concerned with the retail sales for the month. So if you're looking at what analysts are predicting for those who understand fundamentals. So if you look at this, here it was the previous data they had, and the forecast for this, for the forecast, they are forecasting 0.2%. So they are forecasting less, that core retail sales should come at less than 0.2% of previous month of what 0.4%. Now, how do you interpret this data, right? How do you interpret this data? So they say this data may change in the total value of sales at the retail level, right? Excluding automobiles. So you're looking at what actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So if the sales number, it shows that if sales number of retail sales, right, comes out higher, right? If it comes out higher than this forecast, it's going to be good for what? The currency. That means any USD pair, so USD JPY, USD CAD, USD CHF, these pairs are going to be buying. If this data comes out higher than what the forecast, so the forecast is 0.2%. So if we are having something like 0.4, 0.5%, which is higher than the forecast, and I always like it to also be higher than the previous one. When it comes out higher than the previous one and higher than this forecast, it makes the currency more stronger, right? So now, simple understanding of this data. When it comes out, you can look at the color, right? If it comes out here green, then you know it is what good for the currency, right? If it comes out red, it is definitely bad. So the colors can also help you. So green will definitely shows what good, and then red will shows what negative, right? So pay attention to this. This is going to be very important. So the forecast we are seeing, they are actually forecasting less. So they are forecasting that dollar is going to be weak, that the retail sales focus are going to be weak. So let's look at the retail sales itself. So this was the core, and this one is a change of the total value of sales at retail level, right? So this one includes automobiles and everything. The core one does not include the automobiles, right? So actual greater than forecast, the same thing. We are looking at what they are also forecasting what negative, right? They're even forecasting a negative value, right? So what we are expecting, they're expecting what a negative, a weaker dollar this particular week for the retail sales, actually expecting a weaker dollar this particular week, right? From what the fundamentals are showing, right? Then we have Wednesday, we are going to be having, this is scary. FOMC, the most scary news you can think of, right? And what the interest rates, right? So you can see that we are, for the interest rate, which is released on Wednesday, what I can already see is that there's going to be a rate cut by 25 basis point from what I'm seeing, because you can see 0.5%, and they are forecasting that it's going to be cut like 25 basis point, right? That is to 5.25%, right? So this is interest rate at which depository institution lend balances held at the Federal Reserve to other depository institution overnight. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So yeah, when interest rates are high, it is good for the currency because what it attracts investors to actually invest in that particular currency, buy that currency to invest in that particular country, right? But now you can see that what if interest rates are going lower, we are going to be having a weaker dollar, right? So they are forecasting that there's going to be a rate cut, which is also what I'm anticipating, a 25% cuts in interest in the federal fund rates, right? So all the fundamentals we are seeing so far are showing a weaker dollar, right? This should be telling you something. Hopefully, this is going to also match with our technicals, which we are coming to do, right? So let's move into FOMC. That's the FOMC statement. So when interest rates are released, you have this is just like the board of director of the Federal Reserve. They come together to speak, right? So you can see the more hawkish than expected. Hawkish, when you say about hawkish, it means that they're looking at increasing interest rates. When you talk about dovish, they're looking at what? Reducing interest rates, right? So you see the FOMC usually change the statement at each release. So when they release interest rates, they give a statement looking at the forecast, what is going to be happening, what they are looking at doing. So of FOMC stands for the Federal Open Market Committee, right? So they come together, the governors, these bank governors, they come together. This is specifically for the United States, right? They come together, they kind of like give their statement, talk about what they are looking at for their projections in terms of interest rates. Are they going to be dovish? Are they going to be hawkish, right? So we also have to listen to this. So Wednesday is going to be a very volatile day. So if you're trading on Wednesday, please, at this time, 7 p.m., the market is going to be very, very volatile. So you have to pay attention to these particular news, right? You can see now I'm looking at just the US dollar, right? So if you go on Thursday, we still have unemployment claims, right? Unemployment claims. And we are seeing that unemployment claims, they are saying that it's going to increase. The previous one was 230K, and they are forecasting 232K. Means they are seeing that unemployment claims have increased, right? And if this is actually comes out greater than this, you're going to see what a weaker dollar. So actual less than forecast is good for a currency, right? So we want to see that unemployment claims are reducing to show the economy is doing well. But if you are having unemployment claims actually increasing, more people are unemployed, right? So the economy is not actually doing well, right? So they are forecasting what an increase in unemployment claims, telling us what a weaker dollar again, right? So you can see so far from Tuesday to Wednesday, Thursday, we are having what projections of what weaker dollar, right? So this should tell you something about the US dollar. So if you're trading GBP USD, if you're trading gold, if you're trading Euro USD, all these things, you have to pay attention to them, right? So from what we are seeing from the fundamentals, they are projecting what a weaker dollar, right? A weaker dollar. So this should tell you that if you are projecting a weaker dollar, if you're projecting a weaker dollar on fundamentals, then if you go to the technical, if you're trading any pair, let me just give you a simple formula, right? If you're trading any pair, let's say USD, let's say X, then you're trading USD, right? So this is how you can trade this, right? Any currency pair starting with USD, where USD is currency, right? And if we are projecting what the USD,
please can
right?
The person who is not presenting, can you
we're expecting these pairs to what?
Because I think you are.
So, and you're expecting what? Any pair starting with what? Where USD is a code currency, we are expecting that pair to what? To be buying. So in a nutshell, what we are saying is that you're looking at pairs like USD, JPY. You're looking at pairs like USD CAD. You're looking at pairs like USD CHF, right? Now, if you're looking at pairs to be buying, we are looking at GBP USD, gold, XAUSD. You're looking at Euro USD. You're looking at what AUD USD, as in USD, right? Or USD, right? So this is what the fundamentals are telling us, right? This is what they're telling us, right? So we're telling us that we're expecting a weaker dollar, therefore USD JPY, USD CAD, USD CHF, any USD thing you can think of, right? We are looking for a drop, and then XAUSD. So we're looking for what buys on these other pairs, right? So this is what we are seeing on the fundamental side for US dollar. With that understanding, let's now go to the technical analysis part, right? So this is what we have. So keep this in mind, right? We are done analyzing the fundamentals for the week, and that is what we are having, right? We are looking at what weaker dollar, and So you just keep that in mind. Now let's look at the XY, right? Let's look at the XY. That will be the first pair I want to look at. For those who don't know what the XY is, right? To give you a brief understanding, the XY, let me put the watermark. For those who don't know the I think I'm just going to write it. So this is the XY. The XY. Or dollar index. Good, right? So the XY, that's the dollar index. So the XY basically stands for what? The dollar index, right? So this tells you the strength of the dollar, right? In measuring it, measuring with other currencies like the euro USD, GBP USD, and so on, right? AUD USD, right? So you kind of measure the strength of the dollar, right? So if you have an understanding of how the dollar is performing here, you can basically translate that understanding, right? That bias we have to pairs like GBP, USD, gold, and so on. But a disclaimer I'm going to give here is that the correlation is not 100%, right? Do not do your analysis on the XY and assume that what you've done on the XY, you're just going to do the reverse on GBP USD. You still have to do your technical analysis on GBP USD. But this DXY just gives you an understanding of how the dollar is performing, the state of the dollar, the strength of the dollar at a particular point in time. With that little understanding, then you can use that correlation, right, to still do your analysis on GBP USD, do your analysis on AUD USD, then merge that correlation with your technicals. If they are going hand in hand, then you're fine, right? Do not do your analysis on one and try to apply that on the other. That's a disclaimer I'm just giving, right? So if you're looking at the XY from a day trader, right? From a daily time frame, I always like to start from here. So we can see that the XY has been on a downtrend. We've been creating what significant lows, lower lows and lower highs. You can see we have this high, we have what? A low. If you're looking at market structure, right? We have what? A lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then market try to create what? A lower high, but this is not yet a lower high because we've not been able to take out this particular lower low we have here. So right now, what we can say is that this is our low, our recent low we have here, and then we are still looking at what? This high here, right? So what I'm seeing on the XY is that we are bearish. What clearly we can see is that we are bearish on the daily time frame, right? We are bearish on the daily time frame, looking at it in terms of what? Market structure, right? Technicals, we are bearish. But now what we can see is that we have reached a key significant support level on the XY. So last week, I was expecting the XY to actually push all the way to this zone and then what? Give me the bearish continuation, right? But you can see that market pulled, then try to what? Reverse, push again, reverse, and create a what? We have a double bottom here, right? We are having a double bottom. So my expectation, you can see my expectation for next week is that I'm still bearish on the dollar, right? You can see that with this formation, this trend, and this what, but this double top formation we form here, we are bearish, and this is aligned with our fundamentals, right? This aligned with our fundamentals. So we are expecting what? A weaker dollar. So expecting the dollar to reach possibly at this support level 997, right? 997, the green line I've marked 997, right? So we are currently holding strong at 100. Currently holding strong at this 100.5, right? That's what we are currently holding strong. But what I'm seeing on the XY, as I said, we are bearish, right? So we can basically say we are bearish. So I'll be looking for sales on the dollar, right? So going to my 4-hour time frame, you can see we are now within a range. So this is what? A consolidation, right? So we've had the impulsive move. So basically we've had an impulse. Let me get this to, we've had what? Impulse, then what? We have what? A correction, right? Consolidation right now. So this is what? A consolidation, right? If you understand the Wyckoff theory, this will help you better, right? So we have what? We had some market pull, they had what? We had consolidation, distribution, then now we are what? We are accumulating again. So we're expecting price to do what? Drop after this breakout, right? So that is why you see I'm still expecting what? I'm still bearish on the dollar, right? So right now, what I'm expecting, I want the XY to actually what? Break out of this particular zone. this is what I'm still expecting. If we don't break out of this zone, right? So what might happen is, okay, price to break out and then give me that retest and then continue looking for sales on the dollar, right? This is my expectation on the US dollar, right? So you can clearly see how I've marked all my zones and I'm looking for them, right? So still we are still in the range. Yeah, we are still in this particular range, but our overall bias is we are bearish. So if we are bearish on the dollar, right? So we then know what to do. We now go to look at our GBP USD, right? Let's look at GBP USD first. So looking at GBP USD, I'll start again. Let me look at the weekly time frame on GBP USD. So I'm going to refresh my chart. So looking at GBP USD, you can see the contrary of what you are having in the XY. That is it happening on what GBP USD, right? So you can see what is happening in the XY. That is it, the opposite happening on what GBP USD. Now let's go ahead with this analysis. So if you look at GBP USD from a weekly time frame perspective, you can see that what we have what higher highs and what higher lows. So these are our most recent high. Yeah, right. So clearly on the weekly time frame on GBP USD, we can establish that what we are bullish, right? The market is still what bullish on what GBP USD. That is fine, right? Now you want to mark out your, what I want to do is I want to mark out the weekly low and the weekly high, which I have here. So I'll mark it as here. This is my low. Put this as green. Then I'll mark this as the high. Yeah, right. So this is what I'm looking out for on, this is where we are currently on GBP USD in terms of higher time frame perspective. We are bullish, so we should be looking for buying opportunities, right? Now, what I do next is that I mark out my zones, right? I try to mark out the zones I see price respecting, right? So I try to mark out my support and my resistance, which is very important. So I can see clearly that what price is actually what price came to retest this particular word resistance zone. So we had a breakout, now we have a retest. So what I'm expecting is that price should push up and break out of this word, these resistance that we are having here, the highs, right? If we get a breakout out of these highs, then we should be good to go, right? We should be good to see what more continuations to upside, possibly to these highs. So we can see some highs that we can tap here. So I'm going to make this black now. So we can see these highs, yeah. So these are the highs I'm actually expecting to see go GBP USD move up to, right? So we need to get what a breakout of this zone. So these are the zones I'm going to mark on my weekly time frame. Don't have to do too much there. I just have to have a weekly target and weekly bias, which I already have. Then I go now to my daily time frame, where I'll be looking for intraday setups. So I can now adjust this. You can see clearly that what we just clearly had a good breakout and retest here, right? A good one. So if you're trading GBP USD, you know what to be looking for next, right? So you can see clearly that price just reacted on this particular support zone. This particular resistance now acting as a support. This is still our low. So until this low is taken for me, then I'm still bullish on GBP USD until this is taken out. So price needs to close one below here. If not, I still my bullish bias, right? So then we are having this significant high here. So this is going to be our resistance, which is what the weekly high, right? I want to make this thing very fast, so we move, right? So you can see clearly that what we've just broken out of structure, retest. So what we are expecting is what a good breakout of GBP USD of the zone, then retest, and then we head to the new our new target, which we are seeing here. So you can see that was mapped from the weekly time frame. That is one thing you need to understand. Once you have a good understanding of a weekly time frame perspective, it helps you a lot to know what, if you want to swing, you know the next swing point to look up to, right? So what I want to do is that when I try to zoom this, I can see clearly that this stands at a psychological level, which I could use here. So if you're looking at this, you see that this is a good psychological level. If I'm looking at the close of point 1770, which is what I'm going to use. So I'll prefer to use a psychological level there. Right, so 1770, good, right? So I'm just going to mark all of this range. Good, that's my zone, right? So moving from here to the next psychological level, right? And you can see that price is currently reacting at 126, and price just retested the psychological level we had down here. So for those who know what psychological level is, they are basically round up numbers which institution tend to trade on, and it's just basically a notion about that their figures are easily to remember, and which you mostly find institution using, right? So you can see price reacting at this psychological level 1300. So we had breakout retest exactly on the psychological levels, others got filled, and price is pushing to the upside, right? So GBP USD, we are almost done, right? As I said, what I'm looking for on the daily is that if we get a good breakout, we just had a retest. So this week, I'm still expecting what price to push, right? So we are going to have most likely Monday, Tuesday, we should be having these buys, right? So you can see this is basically aligning with our fundamentals as well, right? Remember what I said about the fundamentals. You can see that this is aligning with what the fundamentals we just did, right? So now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, which is where I'm going to end. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, you can see clearly that what we had price doing what impulse, then it was correcting to the downside, correcting. Now we are expecting what price will break out, right? So even if you are using trend lines, you see clearly that price what is just trading within this particular range. So what I'm expecting now is simple as this. So let me arrange this here like this. Yeah, right. So what I'm expecting is what a breakout. So this is a pattern we are kind of seeing a flag. Then boom, right? So that's what we are actually seeing what on. So pretty much that's what I'm seeing on the GBP US, right? I'm just waiting for that breakout to happen. Then I'll be looking for my buys, right? So what I can still have is price. If price comes here to reject again, then I'll still look for buys, more buys to this particular zone. So that is my view on GBP USD. So let me write it here. So my view on what GBP USD, right? GBP USD, right? So now let's move to the next pair, which is we're looking at what gold, right? So let's look at gold, right? So looking at gold, I was doing some analysis already this today. So looking at gold, let's start again from the weekly time frame. Let's always look at the weekly time frame. So looking at gold from a weekly time frame perspective, what can we see? So let me refresh. Yeah. Gold has been bullish, like crazily bullish, right? Gold has been flying. If you watch gold last week, right, it's been going to the upside. We've been having significant what higher highs and higher lows, right? So gold is what in an uptrend from a weekly time frame, right? So you can always see that we can get a low here. We just broke out of structure on gold, so we can get this our weekly low, right? So this is our weekly low. I'm going to just mark it as this. And this is the high we're having is this good. So we've not had any significant high here, but price is still moving to the upside. We've not had any retracement for a high being formed. This is where price just broke out from. So I just want to mark this zone, right? So we can see that we are still very much bullish on gold, right? So now moving on to the daily time frame, we want to be able to mark out our significant support and resistance, which is very important, right? So you can see clearly that gold, this is a weekly low. We're within this particular range, which price just like brutally broke out from, right? So we are here, and price created what an all-time high. So this high we are having here, right? So what you are seeing on gold is very clear, right? What you are seeing on gold is very clear, right? It's very clear. What I'm expecting now is okay. Should gold be able to just retest here, and then we still continue getting our buys, right? But those gold is now moved more by fundamentals, right? So what I'm going to say, I'm going to sit on my hands and kind of wait to watch and see what the market is going to do. But yeah, I'm bullish on gold. Any retracement I see to the downside, 25.30, I should be looking for more opportunity to buy, right? So if you're looking at gold going to the 4-hour time frame intraday, what we are saying is clearly okay. Price is now rejecting at the high just formed. So if we can have price gold actually retrace to these highs, it just broke. Yeah, we can be looking for more buying opportunities, right? That's what I'm seeing on gold breakout. We've not had any retest. So going to the 1-hour time frame again, right? So this is like a top-down analysis I'm doing. We really struggled to this range. We had what price what accumulation, then what price actually what Price actually what broke out and then started moving to the upside, right? So now see what we're having here. So if you want to trade gold on a lower time frame, like 1 hour below, yeah, you can have some minor support and resistance, some minor levels to look out for, which is this first level here, right? This zone, and you can have this zone. So these are good demand zones you can be targeting price on, right? So you can see clearly that, okay, should price come here, and then we should be expecting to get some moves, right? But overall, I want to see gold. If gold is able to come all the way here, and I'll be looking for buys. But I'll be looking for price since we are still like so bullish, right? Gold is very, very bullish, right? We're having just little retracements. So if I still see gold being able to come down, so let's say we are looking at 2570 psychological level, then I'll be looking for buys, right? So but I will still want to see good confirm. When price gets there, I want to see that price is actually what pushing back, right? But I'll tell you, don't try to catch the sales right now if you're not very sure. Don't try to catch the sales, right? Because gold can do you dirty, right? Don't try to catch the sales right now. So we just broke out of this range here. We just broke out of this range. Then price can still come back here, then continue moving to the upside. So if you're using Fibonacci here, put your on this low, and then you take it to this particular high. So what we can see clearly is that, okay, there's a possibility of what gold coming to tap within this what discounted area, right? So the discounted area, and then price can what push the upside. So this is what I'm looking intraday, but my overall perspective is if you can have a good pullback all the way to 25.30, you can get a swing trade to the upside. But yeah, this is what I'm seeing on gold for me right now. This is what I'm seeing on gold, right? Having some little bit of pullback back into this demand zone. Then looking for buy. You can see that this is my discounted area, 71.9. I'm expecting gold to pull here, and we have what a key support level there, and we are looking at what a psychological level as well, right? So actually it's a good area to actually pay attention to, right? So that's what I'm seeing on gold. That's what I'm seeing on gold. I'm just going to write here XAUSD. I'm trying to, I have 6 minutes to go, right? So the next pair I want to look at is GBP JPY, right? GBP JPY. Looking at GBP JPY, so before I look at GBP JPY, I want to analyze what Moneypolo even know they have to analyze. I want to analyze the Japanese yen, right? The yen itself, right? So the yen is a key mover of what the US of GBP JPY, USD JPY, Euro JPY. For those who don't know, this is what you'll be learning today new, right? So before it's just like how you're analyzing CXY. You have to make sure you analyze the year. It's just the same thing for the XY dollar for it to trade the USD, GBP, USD, AED, USD, and so on. Make sure you analyze this yen, particularly, right, to trade things like the GBP, JPY. So looking at the yen is kind of is recovering from all this movement we've had to the downside, right? So if I clear this, right, so I can see clearly that what we've been pushing to the downside. Here on the daily time frame, you can see clearly that we've been pushing what to the upside after this massive movement to the downside when they actually would cut their interest rates, right? They increase interest rates actually, right? So you can see that we are now approaching a key significant point, right? Key significant point, and this was a very good sign to buy. We had this double bottom here, right? So what I'm seeing on the yen is pretty much very, very easy. We just had a breakout of this zone. Now, clearly you can see that the yen is actually what pushing to the upside, right? So we are pushing to the upside significantly. So we are heading to these highs. We are heading to these highs. Price is heading to these highs right now on the yen. And I'm expecting more buys on this particular yen right now. So price is actually recovering. So we should be seeing the yen moving more and more and more to the upside, probably targeting these highs. Targeting these other highs, right? So right now, the yen is actually very bullish, right? So if the yen is bullish, what you should be expecting on GBP JPY is sales. That way you should know, you have put that in the back of your mind. GBP JPY, we should be expecting what sales, right? Seeing this bias word on the yen, right? So now I'll go to GBP JPY to analyze. and you will be able to see how easy it's going to look like. So you can see very well that GBP/JPY is moving what in a downtrend, right? So I say you need to have an understanding of, you need to, like, when it comes to trading, there are certain things you need to really understand and learn, and what blends your analysis. It's not just about support and resistance, right? So you have to also read a lot, understand what is happening with currencies, correlation, all those things, fundamentals, and so on. So I actually discovered this when I actually saw that what was happening, the GBP/JPY, USD/JPY, EUR/JPY, all of them were falling at the same time. So I had to look into the yen for actually saw that, right? So you can see clearly that what the yen is, GBP/JPY is in a downtrend, right? You can see, you look at the yen will be is in an uptrend, right? So now what we are seeing on GBP/JPY now, you can see that what we've been creating what lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? Price just broke out of this key significant support level we have here. We close above, right? This is really a confirmation for sales, right? Good confirmation for sales. So what I'm targeting now, I'm targeting USD/JPY all the way to this particular zone, right? I'm targeting GBP/JPY to these lows. That's 181.348, right? Even all the way to 180.00. That's my target for what? GBP/JPY. You can see we already have the breakout, right? So I don't even need to go to any time frame we're going to look at it. It is already showing clearly on my chart, right? So what I'm saying, this is a move I'm seeing on this, then price what moves here before we can have any move against the upside. That's what I'm expecting on GBP/JPY. So you can look at it. Just going to write it here, GBP/JPY. Right. So this is my bias on GBP/JPY, right? So these are the pairs I'm most likely going to be trading this week, right? GBP/JPY, GBP/USD, XAUUSD, right? So I'm not going to be trading EUR/USD, no, but if I'm looking at EUR/USD, just to give you a good overview of it. So EUR/USD, right? You can also see that what we are in an uptrend here. Price also did the correction and then bounce back at this key breakout that we had here, right? And it is moving back to the upside. So what I'm expecting on the same thing I'm expecting on GBP/USD, the same thing I'm expecting here. I want price to break out of this zone, then we can be looking for price to move to these highs, right, on EUR/USD. So if our fundamentals actually do play out well, then we should be expecting this type of movement, right? So as you are seeing, we are expecting what, a weaker dollar. So this is my view on EUR/USD as well. Straightforward. EUR/USD. So this is my view on EUR/USD as well. You can take a picture, but I'm going to upload a video on YouTube right now, right? So this is my view on EUR/USD, bullish as well, right? So I think these are the pairs I'm going to be looking at for this particular week. For this particular, these are the pairs I'm going to be looking at. BTC has been falling, so I'm not really interested in trading BTC. Look at this bias to the upside. Now, what we are having is price on Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not really interested in trading Bitcoin that much, so that's why I don't really. So Bitcoin, I'm expecting a correction on Bitcoin. Just give you a brief overview. I'm expecting Bitcoin to drop to 58,400 here about. Then looking for more buys. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. So, but I just want to see this retracement. Then what buys? This is my key level on Bitcoin, right? So yeah, so these are my views for this particular week.